And yes, you're welcome back to another WEDPREP podcast delivered to you by WeddingSuppliers.ie, where you can find Ireland's largest list of wedding venues and wedding suppliers and plan your wedding end to end. You can now even create your own wedding planning website, which is free. Create an itinerary and share it with your guests. In the studio today, we have Jenny Cullen. Now, Jenny Cullen does a lot of things: ceremony, singing waiter, entourage, band, pre-dinner music. So this is a great podcast to tune into if you want somebody for a one-stop shop for your wedding entertainment. Jenny.
Hey.
Well, that's some introduction.
It was very like the pressure's on there.
I was halfway through going, I'm going to mess up here somewhere.
I'm kicking you now to make sure you don't forget something.
So we know each other years.
We do.
Long time.
Yeah. Long time.
So you're, as I said, ceremony music, band, singing waiter, and pre-dinner music. Anything else you want to add on to that?
No. I think that covers everything. Just about. I MC speeches sometimes as well.
Do you?
Just more so for American couples, they would contact us. Do you know someone that can do that? And then when you're there the whole day, you're going, I'll MC your speeches. So that's
how does that
nice.
work? You just go in and you just...
Yeah, well, I kind of have like a couple of Zoom, like a Zoom with them, find out who they are, who they've got, anything they need me to know, anything to slag anyone off, and then I just send them over a script, and then we kind of work with the script to kind of tone it down, or not roast anyone. Or
and you do kind of counselling for wedding couples.
No, the odd time, like I get the odd panic bride,
naturally.
Just naturally, but like it's like, look, it's only easy when you're in the business and you're doing it all the time, and then you know. So it's kind of, I like that kind of end of it, and I like kind of, like, without sounding cheesy, kind of helping people navigate, and because we all have suppliers that we work with as well, so you can always recommend photographers or
it's an important part of the network
celebrants
system,
and things like that you
know
say
the ones
they're
you
lovely.
like working with.
Yeah,
you know the ones
that
you can trust.
Nice rapport, and that they're lovely to work with, and you just know, when they're kind of liking what you do, you're kind of go, well, you're going to like these kind of people then as well.
We have our own tribe.
That's it, a bit of a cult,
So what's your favourite part of the day? Ceremony, pre-dinner, band?
I don't know. It's like between your children, how do you pick?
Well, come on, I disagree with that. Someone asked me, do I have a favourite child? I said, of course I do.
No, you can't.
I say it in front of them as well. You're my favourite.
Oh, my kids got mad. They were like, oh, who's your favourite? No, we don't have any favourites. We don't have any favourites. We love everybody equally. Some are easier than others, but other than that, they're all lovely. No, I don't. I love it all. I love it all. Like, you know what I mean? And that sounds really like a cheesy line, as if, yeah, right, you do. But you do, because everything is like its ingredients to the whole, recipe. It all has its time and its place. Like the other day, I posted something up that I was doing a ceremony, and the bride came in and she sat down next to her groom, and we all looked over, and the men, like the groomsmen, the best man and their teenage son, were all in floods of tears, and then everyone else was crying because they were crying. The women were fine. The women had got it out of their system, I think, earlier on, and that was just lovely. You're just like, oh, it's just lovely. Come
on, lads, get it together.
No, I loved it. I was like, I couldn't stop smiling then.
The emotional
I was like,
part,
lovely.
though, like the ceremony part, is like, that it is, isn't it?
It is, and I think that, like, especially now,
do you crack up when, like, if you're singing in the middle of a song? I know you're a professional and you do it all the time, but is there any time that you would feel, God, this is really, really...
No, I'm brutal at singing at funerals now. I do get asked to sing at funerals, and I can't deal with it.
We shouldn't be laughing.
I know, it's terrible. Like if someone asks me to sing at a funeral,
Jenny,
I
this is
do.
a wedding podcast.
I know. That's the only time I get kind of like, oh God, that was really. But let me think. I think when you hear the love story, or sometimes when the bride gets to the top and the groom is in tears, I'm like, oh my God, that's lovely. Saying to my husband, why didn't you cry when you saw me? But they did in other ways. But like, it's lovely to see it, and it's kind of when you see the emotion or the love story. Like, a lot of that creeps into the kind of civil ceremonies now, because they're kind of catching up on the church weddings. And
there's not
that's more personal.
Format.
And you get to
break rules.
And you get to hear from the celebrant. They might ask, why do you love so and so, and why? And it might be the first time that the others are hearing it. Yeah. And that's always lovely and nice, you know what I mean? So I do. I'm not a particularly very soppy person, but I do love that bit.
If we talk then, so let's start with ceremony, then we move on to the pre-dinner, because those kind you sometimes you'll offer the package. Like, if you do a full day service, ceremony, pre-dinner, singing waiter, band, have you ever...
that would be...
Would you be fatigued?
Not really, no, because you're kind of just, you're on your conveyor belt, and then like when you get to the drinks reception, you have that time. Then the PA has been secretly, the PA has been secretly set up in the room for the waiters, and then you have to give it a little bit of time. Like, if I've done, say, the ceremony and the drinks reception, I would always pair myself up with somebody else who, you know, I know that nobody knows, you know what I mean? And they might walk the room, or I might come in as, I might be emceeing, or I might be doing something like that, or I might say the person is it's their last day of the work, and it's tradition here in this venue that they have to sing a song. And you kind of, rather than the tray drop kind of thing, you kind of, and sometimes I go in and I'm like, look, bride and groom want a party and you guys are looking tired, and that's what I'm here for. Let's get moving.
And you know, you always come back to the cliche, when you do what you love, you never do a day's work.
It is. We're lucky. It's a nice way. It's a nice day job now. I can't complain.
So how are the ceremonies going then, and what have you seen over the last... Have you seen things changing rapidly, or seeing things...
Well, I suppose we all know that, like, you know, years ago, like the church weddings obviously dominated. That was the mainstay. And I suppose logistics and kind of venues kind of up in their game. The options now to have weddings on site are gorgeous. You know what I mean? I mean, like, say for the likes of in Wicklow, like very close to me, you've got like Tulfaris, Ratsala and Brook Lodge. They'd be three big Wicklow venues. The likes of Ratsala, they've got three options. So they've
adjusted.
They've adapted, and they've moved and they've invested. Like they converted long ago, before anyone else, they converted I think it was a grain store into their chapel.
Yes, lovely.
With stained glass window and everything. They've got the orangery, they've got the walled garden, which now they have a bar and a drink reception area there. I mean, the venues have really upped their game.
You can have a Prosecco or a pint when
imagine. No, I don't. Yeah, it's a bad look. I think you're there having too much. But no, it's lovely and chilled, and it's. I suppose there's a lot of venues that have invested in that.
Because that's the argument, isn't it? Like for me personally, the ambience of a church. Because it is. You can't recreate that. But now that is happening, because a lot of these venues that have these older outer buildings or whatever, like you see Cabra Castle have done an amazing
phenomenal.
job.
I was going to say that one.
Ratsala, Ballymagarvey, and there's lots of venues here. You know.
Even Brook Lodge, Brook Lodge. They actually, because they do have an old-fashioned actual chapel on the grounds. You know, they're lovely, and even Station House has with the turntable. You know, it's you're in the forest. It's
the
pretty,
Station House is magical. Actually,
it is pretty magical. Like, and the thing about, for the likes of those venues, sometimes people go out there and have their first dance out there.
Yes.
And with all the sparklers and all the kind of, and it is lovely. Like it's. I know it's a really lovely photo, but
when it's not raining.
Yeah, in Ireland. Yeah, when it's not raining. But then it was a couple of weeks ago, we were baking. You know what I mean? We were sitting outside, and it was hot. Like, you know.
So just for your repertoire, do you see much changing in are people still using kind of traditional, because you can't, like, there's something like PAs, I can PAs, Ave Maria, but there's still lovely songs, and creates a lovely dynamic. Are they still in play? There's
still the classics, like they still want to have the Ave Maria, they still want to have that quintessential kind of, like, say, Catholic sermon and stuff. But like, when you look at, when you're kind of planning your ceremony, you have to, like, before you decide whether it's church, like, even if you're not having a church wedding and you're having an on-site wedding, there's three different types. So you're either going to have the civil, which is your HSC person coming out. You've got the secular, which is really your kind of atheist wedding. And then you've got the kind of all other beliefs, which is like your spiritualists, your all faiths ministers. So when you have those ones, you can have religious references or not. So like I did a wedding in Wexford in Seafields, in a marquee out overlooking the sea. It was gorgeous. And they had like readings, like from St. Paul to the Corinthians, because they had chose a spiritualist wedding, and that aspect could come in. So there is a way to make it work for you if you want to kind of,
with the church weddings,
make it all up
on a ratio level. Like, what would you see, and whatever your response to that is, when you are doing the church weddings, is there still an element of where the priest might have a say in the songs, or is that kind of...
I think like when someone would book me, I would send, and I know it's a church wedding, so I send back their receipt and I go, these are your guidelines for whether it's a church wedding or a civil ceremony, and I give them kind of guidelines of how it works. So like, I think you have to kind of, if you're going to have a church wedding, you first have to get your head very firmly around the idea that it is a mass with a wedding thrown in, and not the other way around. So usually, but having said that, there's loads of room.
That's a great way of putting it.
Yeah, it's like, if you think of it that way and go in with that mindset, you're not going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
And to be fair, like, if you think about it, your entrance and your exit, you're definitely going to be allowed to have what you want, even for the strictest of priests will allow it. Your register, technically mass is ended, so your register signing, you can have what you want.
This is interesting. I've never thought about this. Yeah. So is this where the priest's argument is? And forgive me if this is stupid, because you just can't mess with the mass. The kind of flow Is that what it is?
Yeah, there's certain parts, because it is a religious ceremony, and it's sacred to them. So say like your offertory is bringing up the gifts, the bread and the wine. So you're not going to play Coldplay or something for that, because that would be like, it's like it's just, you know.
But
of
course.
To be fair, if you get, so when you come in, say your standard Catholic ceremony, you come in, you can have what you want. You have a little brief greeting. You'll go up and light your individual candles. Usually, you can sneak in an instrumental there of whatever you want, because no one's going to bat an eyelid at that.
Yeah.
You'll have your responsorial psalm, which will be your hymn. You'll have the actual, then go on to the gospel, which there's parts of the mass that you might sing for the priest as well. Mystery of faith, if it's needed, things like that.
Yeah.
You'll have the offertory bringing up the gifts, which is a hymn. The communion, this kind of stickler. You will have things that can cross over. So like Alleluia, You Raise Me Up, the prayer, those kind of songs where they're popular, but they're still, you'll get them over the line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think once you're kind of going in mindful and respectful, and you say to the priest beforehand, these are the songs, is this okay with you? Yeah. It's very rare that they're going to...
Well, I think the top tip there is really like, you know, it's the mass first and wedding comes second.
Yeah.
That's great advice.
But like, to be fair, like the priests are good and they do roll with it. And I think they're conscious that
it's
people
rare
are
you
moving
hear a
away.
priest say no. Like,
Exactly.
It's, you know,
although there was one time I did have a bride once that she was pulling a fast one, and she basically said to the priest that, no, that's all she sings. That's all she sings. And it was all Adele and whatever. There was not a hymn in sight. And I literally rocked up that, you know, feeling this is all grand. And he was like ready for me. He met me at the door. And he was like, what? And how long are you doing this? And, you know, and are you religious? And he was ready to kind of give me a good dressing down about like...
Ordain you.
Yeah. And then he was like, and I said, look, these are all the hymns. You can have what you want. She chose these. And I told her to check with you. And she threw me under the bus. And then he was just like, I think I know what she did here. He says, okay. So we picked a couple of hymns.
Fair play. You know.
And then he was cool. Like, I think once he knew that I wasn't coming in as a kind of a business taking the mick. He was like, okay, it's her day, we'll roll with it, and he was grand.
And let's talk, the pre-dinner thing is self-explanatory, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, do you do something different then with the pre-dinner? Like, what's the format of what you present at the pre-dinner?
Ordinarily, people will pick the duo. So when I go and provide ceremony music, it will be myself, usually with a musician with me, so guitarist or piano.
Right. Nice
if
mix.
they want to kind of get a violinist or something in, they can, but there's not always a need for it, like, you know. And then usually they will go, the deal that you would do. See, I'm lucky because I have the band. People book the bands very early on in the planning process. So I get to kind of be in the shop window very early on.
Yeah.
And I get to say, yes, here's our band entourage, and we also provide X, Y, and Z, and this is the packages. So the ceremony will cost this, the drinks will cost this, but if you book them together, you're getting this discount.
It always makes more sense if a band is offering the additional entertainment. And some people need to understand, I suppose, that what's important is if someone books a band and the DJ package per se or the ceremony, it doesn't always mean that it's going to be the same people. It means that the band will arrange this for you.
Yeah, and I suppose I know a lot of bands are really good bands, and they would have like a core, because not every DJ can be available for you all the time. So they would have a core group of DJs that they trust with their clients, that they will say, I know he's going to come in and I trust him. For the likes of ourselves, like we've one guy that exclusively works with us, but he's a separate guy to us. He comes in with his own gear, his own lighting. And I like that setup because back in the day when I was starting out, we DJ'd and we did well at it. But as we're doing the ceremony, the drinks, the way
that's where the fatigue.
You
have a long day from going from ceremony. And even to touch off that, even band members doing DJs perfectly. You know, I've seen amazing band members doing it. I mean, a band member can read the crowd well. And that's
you're doing it all night, so it's like you don't stop being able to do it just because now you're DJing versus playing an instrument. I think that it's about personality, it's about reading the crowd. And I've had DJs that have come in after us, and they've literally been standing in the wings for half an hour watching our set. And then they'll just come in, and the first 3 or 4 songs we've literally played in the last half an hour.
Right.
And you're kind of going, like...
So your DJ would know your set.
Oh, he'd know our set inside out.
And I know it's a very controversial topic. We don't want to get into it now. It is controversial. Band member doing DJ versus independent DJ. I think independent DJ can be as equally as good as a band member doing it. But a band member can be also as bad as a bad DJ. So it's a kind of a hit and miss thing. You just need to understand what it's about and are they good or bad.
And I think that if you trust, like I say, if you've got a good band, that'll come out in the reviews. That's why you do your homework.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's there. If people are saying I had a great night, they're not saying I had a great night and the DJ was crap.
Yeah.
If the DJ was crap, they would be saying a little bit let down there.
Yeah.
You know, someone's going to come back.
But you do that as well. So you have you have a guy that works with you full time.
Yeah, full time. He's totally ours.
And that's with Entourage. We need to mention
that. Yeah,
right.
Entourage.
Entourage. Come on, you got to plug it.
Entourage wedding band. The voice will be like.
So let's talk about then. So you're doing singing waiters, and it's a big thing at the moment. It's brilliant. Yeah. And you see the singing waiter fall. Have you changed up the format because the fall now? Kind of everyone's seen it online. As
soon as people hear a clash, they're like,
You
waiters.
know what I'm thinking, right? Imagine some poor individual waiter or waitress, right, going around and genuinely takes a fucking heart attack or something and hits the deck and they go, this is a singing waiter.
Tommy Cooper moment, like
Tommy Cooper.
Yeah.
So because I know there's a few different people now doing different things, to shake it up. What would you say? You have anything kind of different that's
we do give the option, there is the whole kind of tray drop, but I find like everyone's chatting in the room. Yeah. And it's very hard to anyone, like fair enough, a few people might notice even a tray dropping. But, for me, that's a little bit of an element of cheese that I don't like to go to. I don't like that myself personally. Like sometimes we go in and the couple are like, we don't care how you get into it, just have them up moving.
Lift them. So this is
my
job. This is the job. You're going in, you want a big buzz.
Yeah.
Everyone's a bit full after the dinner.
Exactly.
Do it after the main course, right? Or on desserts. Is that what you do it?
Yes, ordinarily. Because some of the venues won't let you.
You have your equipment set up.
Yeah.
There's two of you.
So two of us, and then you'd have a sound engineer who'd be there. He would have set up the gear. Say when the drink reception's going on, he goes in, sets up a gear. People don't notice it because it's just street. You just deliberately pick small speakers. Yeah. But they pack a punch that they'll deliver for the room. Right. You know what I mean? And having said that, like I've seen, like the reason I got into it as well was because I'm there all day and I'm sitting there waiting for the band to go on then, and I'm seeing people coming in, and I've seen the waiters come in and been singing and music coming through the speeches PA, and I cringe.
This podcast is not about negativity, right? No. We're all positive on the WEDPREP. I have
room
seen
for everybody, apart from that.
Horrendous simulators.
It is.
And the music distorting.
It does, yeah. They're not built for that, those speakers. The speakers are tiny, they're not built for it. That was our
So here's this, hire a professional singing waiter, do your research.
Yeah.
So then you're onto the band. Entourage, right? And what's unique, it's not even unique. So you obviously, there's a female presence in the band, which is great. And then you have keyboards, bass, guitar, drums.
Yeah. So we're 5 pieces. I suppose our biggest kind of selling point is like people do obviously always come back to us, like as every good wedding band will always say you have a great set because you have to be able to cater for everyone in the room and roll with the punches and stuff. But what is a good selling tool for us is that we have lead standard male and female vocals. So people go, we liked you because we felt we didn't have to choose. That there was a really good girl and not so good of a lad, or the lad was amazing and the girl was a bit of a filler. You know what I mean? That we like to come that we can do both.
We do talk about it within the industry about a female fronted wedding band.
We're in the minority. We're minorities.
No, but the brides, that there might be a thing where the brides are afraid. They'll either love a female fronted band or not. Yes. Because the bride is afraid that the female... I think it's bullshit, right?
I've heard that theory.
The bride's afraid that the female singer might show... Like, I mean, for fuck's sake.
I've heard that theory, but I don't... I think it depends on the girl as well. Yeah. You know what I mean? Nobody is... I don't think you'll get much work if you kind of came out, dressing skimpy and gyrating too much. Even if you were gorgeous, you know what I mean? It's not going to get you too far. You know what I mean? There's a limit to it, whatever. But I think the brides are far more secure than that. Yeah. And they're like, we want the girly anthems.
And it's shifting now with the taste of music. Yeah. And in your dynamic as well. And I think it's very important that you have a very strong male vocalist in the band.
Yeah, he's great. Like, Ken's great.
So the two of you guys are there together.
And that was it. Like, as a vocalist, because I run the band with one of the lads, the bass player in the band. And always I was like, I want something really vocally strong. I want to be proud of it. Do you know what I mean? And like, I feel I've got that now. The other lads sing as well, but like the guitarist is such a strong singer. He's been with us 8 years. Yeah, brilliant. Ken is brilliant. And he's on a wireless. He'll go off for a wander. What I mean?
And that brings us to the entertainment part. We keep on coming back to that. We just had a magician in here before you. Yeah. And he was saying almost the magic comes second.
Yeah.
For him, the entertainment comes first.
Yes.
The engagement with the crowd.
Yeah.
And it's a big part of someone booking a wedding band, in my opinion, is that you can have 5 brilliant musicians, but if their heads are down...
Yeah. You have to be up for the crack. I mean, and it's like... And it's... I genuinely love doing it. I never get to a wedding and I'm like, oh, God, here we go again. I'm never like that.
Tell the truth.
No, I don't. I don't.
I know.
No, like getting there, like when you have to leave the house and you're like kind of, oh, you know, like that's like for everybody.
It's brilliant.
Everyone getting there. Yeah. But you don't get, and people say to me like, you know, oh, but do you get the bridezillas? Do you get the hard work? And I'm like, no, we don't.
There's no such thing. In a wedding environment, if you think about it, you're going into this environment where people are just on a buzz.
Yeah.
You know, the couple
and we're the happy elements.
The happiest day of their life. All the families are there.
Yeah.
You're walking into a ready-made audience.
Yeah, it's perfect. I walk in and like you've dealt with them so much on emails. Like some of my brides between everything.
You feel like you get to know them.
You do. And I have like 40, I might have 40 emails back and forth. I've been there for the ceremony, so I get their love story. It's lovely. I've seen them. And then when you get there, it's like, right, we're ready to rock. And it's just the party fun part. And we don't get any of the... If there's any drama, we don't see it. We don't get any of it.
And it very rarely is.
No.
The first dance, okay? We ask every kind of band member that comes in here, first dance, do you learn it? Should you learn it? Or should it be performed on an MP3? Well, you know, Spotify. Yeah. What's the advice? Because it's kind of mixed.
Yeah.
Some certain songs are very hard for bands to reproduce, but if the couple are adamant they want them to play it, it's always a sticky conversation.
Yeah, there's only one ever that I kind of went back and said, like in hindsight, that would have been it was a big, it wasn't even a musical theatre, I even forget which one it was. It was like a Disney one or something like that. And in hindsight, it probably would have been to replicate what they want. Because very often bands will say, I can do that, but I can do a version of that because I don't have, you know, a 20-piece orchestra with us or whatever the case may be. But I think if you can get it live, for us, even when they want it on MP3, and that's their choice.
What's your preference?
I prefer live because I prefer there's a bit more energy in it and there's a bit more oomph in the room because it's the first full band experience that they're having on that day. But like for us, I did a blog on it on our website. Like we say, hang back, we'll play some bouncy music, we'll get a big circle, we'll invite you guys in, we'll hype them up, you know what I mean? And we get them in. So whether it's MP3 or the band playing live, it's the same format. We're still bringing the energy to it. And you have them like swaying. I know it sounds cheesy, but you're like, sway your arms because it's good on the video. You know what I mean? And it looks good on the video and all that kind of stuff. And you get them saying, doesn't she look gorgeous and doesn't whatever. And it gets people just smiling. And it helps the couple through.
Well, it brings the energy in the room,
and it helps them through. Because like 4 minutes to dance on your own is a long 4 minutes if you're not feeling it. Yeah, or if sometimes they're like, just do me verse and chorus, or then invite the bridal party in.
Did you ever,
and then have them all
play the wrong first dance?
No, I've never done that. No, I'm far too meticulous for that.
How do you do that? How do you do the wrong first dance?
Oh no, I have a final sign-off email. Did you do that?
Yeah.
Oh, did you find out beforehand or?
Well,
when
it was
started?
kind of when the couple didn't recognise the song.
Oh,
that's not our song. Oh, okay.
Just roll with it.
You're going to have to bear with
just
it now.
Roll with it.
No.
What it is now.
I can't remember what it was. A miscommunication,
right.
You know. But look, you know what? Human error.
It's part of the.
It was a bit of a buzz. I made a joke out of it. I just said we were emailed the wrong song. It's your fault.
Yeah.
But there was the important part about the first dance, I suppose, where we were told for a particular song, you know, we want the band performance perfect.
Yeah.
But you know, most bands won't play the exact note for note.
Yes.
That cut it down.
Yeah, it's a version.
But one particular night, the couple had gone to dance lessons for 6 months to a song, but they hadn't told us that. So when we kicked off, and it was a miscommunication as well.
In that case,
so an important point, if you're getting lessons, just dance to the original.
I would think so. I think if you're going to the point, if you're going to get lessons and you're not, I say this the politest, kindest way, very often the people that go get the dance lessons are the people who are not dancers.
Yeah, they're 2 left feet.
Yeah.
And then when you see them, you go, did you actually get lessons for 6 months?
Yeah, no, God love. And then like when the music kicks in and it's not exactly what they're used to hearing, it knocks them. It's not what, it's an unfair curveball for them.
It is, and you're right. You know? And that's why stick to the original song, because that's what you're used to listening. Because the band are always going to sound different.
Yeah,
you know?
it would.
But you know it is nice when you do see a couple that actually have spent time and they get it right.
Yes.
It's cool, isn't it?
It is cool. And you get some of the fun ones as well. And then maybe like the dad hops in or the bridesmaids are in. You know, it is cool. And like even the outdoor, like there's a few venues that do lovely outdoor, and they're just lovely to have the outdoor with the sparklers and everything. You know what I mean?
That's happened a lot lately.
Yeah,
you know?
like weather permitting, obviously, but it is a nice touch. And on those instances, it will be on MP3. So say, look, if it starts to rain, we'll have it ready in MP3 if you need it. You know what I mean? So you kind of just roll with it.
Well, look, we have Jenny Cullen Music is your ceremony.
Yep.
Right, and that ties into your pre-dinner.
Yes.
Have you anything, the website up or Insta for your singing waiters yet?
A little bit. We have a little bit because obviously, I mean, it's something that I've only really launched probably about 6 months ago.
But you tie it into your emails and you can tell the couple you have it.
I've got live footage. I suppose for us, it's we always try and get the live footage up so that it's not just something to a trending audio. You're kind of going, we stand over.
This is it. It's raw. It's in its,
Exactly.
And that's what people like to see now, real videos.
Yeah, exactly. It's,
And then you have Entourage.
Yes.
So we always kind of finish up our podcasts on top tips.
Okay.
It can be one or it can be two. So
Okay.
you've given us a lot of good tips there already. So what would be your top tip, I suppose, for a couple in search for their wedding band?
In search for your wedding band.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would say definitely view online, as in like make sure what you're viewing it as live.
Yeah.
And I would look at third-party reviews.
Yeah.
So I would always go to your Google reviews, bearing in mind that if you have reviews that are on like a directory, so somewhere where someone's paying to advertise,
Yes.
there's a little bit of wiggle room there because they're the client, the actual band is the
Not
client.
Not at WeddingSuppliers.ie.
No.
We actually
no, you're
vet.
legit, but there is others that will. I think there's others that if someone gets below a certain star rating, it triggers up, and then there's a course of action for the client who would be the supplier to go back and go, oh no, that wasn't what happened there or whatever, and it might not then ever actually.
Well, in fairness with
get
reviews, you can get a random person, even with Google reviews, just because I know from one particular band playing one night, there was a person in the audience and decided to write this big rant. They were drunk, and we found out who the person was, and they deleted it. But they were just drunk. So some Google reviews, in fairness.
That's why we don't kind of have, we have the QR code. You're like, don't just leave your QR code because everyone will get drunk and go, You know
but in fairness to Google reviews, sometimes I think it's nice to see one or two negatives, but most of them are positive.
Yes.
If they're all 5-star, you go, come on.
And it's like somebody said, I think it was Sarah Kennedy had said as well. It's, sometimes you're not going to please everybody, but sometimes it's how you deal with it. So it's saying it's how the supplier says, well, look, we're sorry that you weren't happy, but the reason that happened was this is what communicated to us.
Always a reason.
Yeah, exactly. There's something, you know what I mean, and then you can know, like, okay, the professional business, and they dealt with it.
And just on booking the band, you're booking, where I am in this, but book a band.
Competitive. Like,
So book a band, book a real band, a band that's rehearsed, a band that exists.
And that's a band. I mean, like, I know, like, there's several more outfits out there which are what I would say it's a brand, it's not a band.
Yeah.
And I think that I know that nothing will replicate playing with the same musicians week in, week out. It doesn't, you know what I mean? And anyone that says it does, they're lying to you. And don't forget, as you get busy in the months and the rostering goes down the list, the quality goes down as well. Do you know what I mean? So, like, you get the top tier lads and they're all out.
Yeah, and what we're talking about here now
is
agency bands.
Yeah.
Bands that are named one name.
Yeah.
And there's a few of them, right?
Yeah.
And if they want to work like that, that's fine. But for you personally, it's Entourage.
Yeah.
That's your band.
Yeah.
You see what you get. People get sick. That's okay.
Yeah.
But you're well rehearsed.
Yeah.
You're one night, one band, and you're not throwing out 10 hours.
And I suppose if you're looking at the reviews for the likes of the multi-band lineup, you go, oh, but they had 100 reviews. I was like, but what lineup was that review for? Because none of those lads are going to be at your wedding. You know what I mean? It's just the devil is in the detail. And I suppose every industry has the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I suppose I'm not saying that way of doing it is the ugly. It's not. I think there's room for everything. There's advantages to that kind of model and that business model. But I suppose it's for the client to definitely know what they're getting and to make sure that you're happy with that. It is the transparency. And I find
because if you said to a customer that booked you, and then you told them, well, look, just letting you know now.
Yeah.
I might not be there on the night. Would they still go ahead?
No, not if they've booked you on the strength of your video.
Yeah.
Or your review. You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, like, and I think, like I'm obviously a member of the Wedding Band Association as well. And what I liked about the Wedding Band Association, and I know it's one of your babies as well, but there was a level of camaraderie that came with that people will go, I'm having trouble with this. Or like people are like, I left my guitar in Kilkenny last night. Is anyone coming down here?
During COVID, it was excellent.
Yeah, and it was like the syndicate that happened during COVID where we had the booking fee, I don't know what you'd even call it. The transfer, you know what I mean? It was, and the information that...
It helped the bands, but ultimately helped the couples.
Yeah, even the information on the legalities of things, that I could come back to someone and say, no, this guideline you know, we knew it inside out, and we could say this. I was speaking to venues and going, look, we can, like, having said that, I mean, I had a venue where it was actually, I won't say whose wedding it was, because they were kind of celebrity wedding, but I had to stand.
Go on. You can't do that to our audience.
I just planted it in there now, but I didn't. But I actually...
Did you get a photograph with them?
I got a couple of photographs with them, but actually it was their sister as well. But I actually had to stand outside the venue. I wasn't allowed in the venue.
Oh, why?
So that was when there was no singing allowed inside. I know it was a crazy time, but there was no singing allowed, and I had all my speakers and everything, and I said it was beautiful weather, and I just said, look, I used to go up because I was doing hosting and stuff. Can I sing? If I'm allowed, I'll stand outside. They were like, once you don't step foot on the premises, you're allowed to sing. And I actually, can I bring the guitarist? And he came and he sang, and we literally stood outside the exit. I know it's crazy, but it worked.
Well, I tell you, that's a whole other podcast, right?
Stop.
But Jenny, thanks a million for coming in.
Not
I think this is a great podcast, all very positive. And I still go back to that one about the mass. If you're getting married in a church, that's a good one. Okay,
it is.
Thank you, Jenny.
Thanks so much.
Brilliant.
Mind yourself. Good luck.